गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम to Gana Short. Gana Short में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today we're going to talk of Trump and the Madman theory. Well, it's a very strange thing that this Madman theory. It came up way back in the 70s. It started with Nixon. What is this Madman theory all about? That's the interesting thing. The interesting thing is, how a volatile guy, unstable guy, can, frighten all his opponents into submission, conceding whatever he wanted. And especially it came about when Nixon, who was prone to be, angry and not, I wouldn't say violent, but anger was his major problem, and vindictive was his trademark. Everyone knew it. So he used to threaten others. Oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. And that was a time when American supremacy and nuclear and everything was there. A lot of things. And USSR had started showing signs of problems. So he used to threaten them. And he appeared struck, raving mad. Absolutely. And if his opponents didn't accept his demands, then they were at the risk of annihilation. That is the theory of the madman. But is that what Trump has achieved, or rather attempted? Because he signaled a lot of things. But let me dwell a bit on this madman theory. Funny thing is that many people have tried this madman theory. Khrushchev tried it just on the time, just after Nixon. Modern times, this North Korean guy Kim Jong Un, he is doing it. People say, look, he keeps threatening everyone. If you don't follow what I say, or if you do anything, I'll, let my nuclear thing go. So Putin has appeared to use this. Next door, Ziaur Rahman, he tried this. Even Pervez Musharraf, during Kargil, the madman theory, that I can do. Generally, the Paki generals, they do this. You do anything, nuclear annihilation. But that's quite an established theory now, the madman theory, which is on the slide. But today we're going to talk about Trump and his madman theory. Is it working? Not working? Is it madman theory? Because before Trump came, and even before he became a president, he sounded like a madman when he said, "I'm going to let tariffs go on everyone. I'm going to." This was a one-stop solution for everything: tariffs, tariffs, and tariffs. And everyone thought he's a madman. क्या tariff के बारे में बात कर रहा? Will he succeed? Who's bothered about tariffs? Will he be able to impose all those tariffs? Will he be able to, he spoke of outrageous things. I'll take over Panama Canal. I'll take over Greenland. I will, Canada will become the 51st state of USA. He appeared mad. There's no doubt about it. A lot of articles on this thing of Trump and the madman. But something's working. That's the point. Something's working. Let's analyze case by case. So, he's done it against Panama, he's done it against Colombia, immigration, foreign aid. Well, let's see the effects of each of these. How this has happened. Is there method in his madness? And I feel there is method in his madness. And that method is coming out. Contrary to what people have been saying, as a Beku effect, he keep doing all nonsense. So let's take that first. Okay. In fact, a lot of people, this is a New York Times article, it says Trump wields US power with unclear economic consequences. It's not only unclear economic consequences, unclear of all consequences as anyone can think. That's what all of us thought. But as days have gone by and he's imposed his tariff regime, he's shaken up the internal establishment of America. Things are falling into place. He's doing it with an absolutely clear plan. And all his cabinet picks and all his loyalists and followers are playing to the gallery. If you see in the American media, it's the right which is blowing all notes and triumphant, and the left and the Democrats are whimpering, if I may say so. But that whimper is getting its echo outside America also. Like I said earlier, whatever America does internally is going to have repercussions outside. But in this case, the repercussions outside itself are a hell of a lot. The first thing, before even he took office, the moment he won elections, he said all hell will break loose if the hostages are not returned, and the Gaza war doesn't come to an end. Well, hell has not broken loose, nor have all the hostages been returned, but the process has started. Something which we never thought will happen has happened. Of course, in Gaza, the preconditions for this were laid by Israel and the previous Biden regime, where in concert they hammered the Hezbollah, they decimated the Hamas, they sorted out Iran, and overturned Syria, the linchpin of Middle East, and created conditions. And even then, things were not very clear whether Hamas will come to the table. But they've come. Two or three exchanges of prisoners have taken place. There are problems in this whole peace deal. There are stumbles, but things are going ahead. And now Netanyahu is going to meet Trump to discuss the plans ahead for the Middle East. So is there some clarity emerging in the Middle East? Might. So the first order in the Madman's chaos emerged in Gaza even before he took over, and it is holding. Simultaneously, this whole story of the Madman theory and the threats and all that have made Putin and Xi Jinping talk to each other even before Trump took over. And everyone, that's not gone past his attention. He is now making an overture to both of them separately. He's put out some kind of olive branch to Putin. He's, with Xi and China, he's threatened a lot of tariffs. He's not put many tariffs. It's just about 10%. He knows, but the military threat has increased. In my way of thinking, he's playing Xi Jinping. A lot of things, it's not clear. If you look at it at the top, at the face value, whether Xi Jinping and China will succumb to Trump's pressure. But we'll see how it happens. In my estimate, China is already under tremendous pressure. The first test case was Colombia. The Colombian president said, no, I'll not take the plane load of immigrants. He didn't allow US planes to land, and he immediately put tariffs on them, and they succumbed. Colombia succumbed. Colombia had to succumb. It was too small. It couldn't, withstand the might of USA. But that sent a signal to everyone. First back step, someone took a step back to see, okay, this is what's going to happen. Then he suspended foreign aid. And this has shaken up a lot of countries, including our very rich neighbors, the super rich neighbors of us, Bangladesh and Pakistan. And they are, if you see their newspapers, you get to know that they're in trouble. Yeah, countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka are all hit in our neighborhood. And in a way, it's good for us because then they'll start looking towards India. I don't think Bangladesh and Pakistan will do that. Pakistan though never will, but Bangladesh will take time. And that's something we'll talk of down the line, because that's the last part I'm going to talk. What's the impact of all this on India, and what's India's role going to be in this? It's important to understand this that bit. Okay. And a lot of countries have had problems with this foreign aid thing. And the Secretary of State, he's unveiled plans to review this whole business of USA. In fact, they want to abolish it. But my sense is this entire US aid will come back under the Department of State. And why? It's there in this article of Washington Post. It says in many cases, US aid was involved in programs and it was countering what the State Department was to do, or it was not aligning with the country's interests or US interests. And they also said that a lot of functions of US aid will continue. But whatever US aid is going, wherever it is going, it has to be as per American foreign policy. So if you analyze it further, I think this narrows the gap for countries which are receiving US foreign aid to play around. Earlier they had a gap because the US aid was not under the State Department, nor was it under the Department of Defense. It had a life of its own. People call it the deep state. In that, the donor or recipient countries could play around. And they used to play around with local powers, with China. They'll take money from USA and act for China. All that, I think, is over. That story is over. Now, countries have to decide. You want aid from USA, you have to behave as what USA wants you to behave. And no one else is going to give them aid. That's the point. Everyone is saying, oh, this will happen, that will happen. But who's going to come forward and give that aid? Not China. China has never given anyone aid. And countries recognize this. So you'll see a shift in this whole story. Okay? What's the third one? Panama. When everyone said, look, Chinese companies, or when Trump said Chinese companies are running Panama and China is going to control Panama and USA is going to be at a disadvantage, everyone laughed at it. China said, no, we don't control everything. But the Secretary of State made a trip to Panama, spoke with the Panaman authorities, and this is what the Panaman Prime Minister had to say. Listen to it, and we'll talk of it a little later. Yeah.
Una cosa importante, que es una decisión que adopté y se la comuniqué. El memorándum de entendimiento del año 2017 sobre la ruta de la seda, the Belt and Road Initiative, no será renovado por mi gobierno.
Belt and Road Initiative will not be renewed by Panama.
Vamos a estudiar la posibilidad de si se puede terminar antes o no, pero creo que le toca en 1 o 2 años la renovación.
This is going to get a signal to everyone.
Así que esa iniciativa que se firmó, cuando se firmó, en el tiempo que se firmó, no será renovada por mi gobierno.
No, all holds are, no holds are barred.
Creo que esta visita
right? And
abre un
now
camino
Panama
para
Canal is going to
construir
come
una nueva
completely
etapa de
under,
relaciones. Así lo veo yo, así lo sentí de parte del
which means
secretario
they're going to control
Marco Rubio
the Chinese
y
trade
a la vez
or
tratar en
Chinese.
la medida de lo posible de que se incrementen las inversiones de los Estados Unidos en Panamá.
It will happen.
Le expliqué una serie
And
de
he's
proyectos de
going to lay this
infraestructura
lay
que el
down.
gobierno tiene en
Colombia,
carpeta,
now
en
Panama,
cartera,
both these
con
countries
el
will be an
ánimo de
example
que
for the rest
las
of Latin
conozcan y en
America.
su momento que
So
se hagan
you'll
las
see
licitaciones que comenzarán muy pronto,
shift in influence,
pues se pueda entrar.
right? Yeah, just have a look at it. I think this is done. Okay, so that's Colombia. What next? Look at what the Vice President of USA had to say about Greenland. Again, a very interesting thing. Okay.
Do you expect the U.S. to acquire Greenland?
I think it's possible, Maria. So here's the thing that I think a lot of folks don't appreciate about Greenland. It's really important to our national security. There are sea lanes there that the Chinese use, that the Russians use, that frankly, Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first. There's another angle to this whole Greenland thing, Maria, that people don't realize. You've got probably 55,000 people living on Greenland who are not actually happy with Danish government. They've got great natural resources there. They've got an incredibly bountiful country that the Danes aren't letting them develop and explore. Of course, Donald Trump would take a different approach if he was the leader of Greenland.
Do you expect?
So, very clear. The Vice President has made 2-3 points. Greenland is important for, American security. Arctic lanes, not letting China and Russia run riot out there. And Europe is not doing its job. So they're going to take over Greenland. Will they actually take over Greenland? No, but the good chances are that Greenland will come under the protection of America completely. There's some deal on. We'll hear about it sooner than later. That's the way I look at it. I assess it. After all, Trump Jr., Trump's son has gone there. He's done some talking. Trump and the Danish president have spoken. Things are happening. So we are now past Panama, Colombia, then Denmark. Okay. Then he slapped 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. Initially, both spoke big, but suddenly the Mexican president flipped. She said, look, I'll send 10,000 troops to the border and seal the border so that fentanyl doesn't go. Fentanyl is one way of, putting it across. But a lot of things even it goes against immigration. It supports Trump's immigration policies. If fentanyl doesn't come out, illegal immigrants also will not come across the border. So for 1 month, he's not given a blanket sanction. So he says for 1 month, I'll delay the tariffs, put people on ground. So now, till now, Mexico, which didn't move a single little finger to put people on the border, has started putting people on the border. And he's put them on a leash. And they've capitulated. And the same thing has gone for Canada. Yesterday, Trudeau spoke to Trump. He said, oh no, I'll also put people. And he had a $1 billion plan to increase surveillance along the US-Canada border, and he's putting it in place. Now they're saying, no, we had it earlier, and all that, but now it's coming on ground. And he's meaning it very clearly. Okay. And then, of course, this Mexico route of China going and establishing, industry there, or exporting things to Mexico and re-exporting it back to US, that's a problem. And this comes from there, Kexen. They have reacted. Chinese auto industries, Mexico odyssey turns gloomy as Trump tariffs loom. So that route, Americans know that what China has been doing. Now China is hunting for some other country from where they can do it. Will they do it through India? Do you think America will allow that to happen? So all our economic survey and all that saying, oh, we should trade with China more and get their investments in here is up. It's a question mark. Okay, so that's out the way I look at it. Some will happen, but not much. Because he's halted now his tariff plans on Mexico and Canada, because both are now putting in the border security plans, as I said earlier. Now, the next thing which is coming out, having sorted out his neighbors or his neighborhood. Neighborhood first है ना, हमारा neighborhood first देखो, उसका neighborhood first देखो, उसने sort out कर दिया neighborhood. I mean, there's a lesson for us how to sort out your neighborhood. He is written it very clearly. Carrot and stick. We don't give a carrot nor a stick. We only give carrots. We don't know how to use the stick. And we use the stick, we use it badly. So after neighborhood, he is now getting to after Europe. His next target is Europe and the EU. What will he do? Tariffs. That's the one-stop solution for him. And second, he'll force them to spend more on defense. And in a way, he will ensure that Europe, which was splitting, will get together again. And then they have a problem whether to deal with the USA or China. So he'll pull them. So this is unraveling as we go along. Is there method in this madness? There is. What's happening in China? There's a reaction. Factory activity has gone down. Why has factory activity gone down? Because China overproduced. Knowing fully well Trump will come with his tariffs, and they exported it out. It's lying somewhere, not sold, but it's not in China. That has been shown as GDP figures. All that. But then the downstream effect is today in China, the factory activity has gone down. This is the report. So they are having problems in Mexico. They are internally also. There's an effect already, cause and effect. Then global markets, they don't know. One day markets go up, one day markets go down. Kalbali hai kalbali. That's the way I put it in Hindi. So there is an issue. Right, let's see ahead. It's not only this. Musk. He has also got into the act. He's been given access to some financial records and all that, which is not very clear what is he doing. But whatever he is doing, he's got after USAID. So there's going to be a complete audit of the USAID. People who are in USAID payroll have been thrown out. Okay, now democratic lawmakers are doing dharna out there. All that, but it's not going to come back. So if it doesn't come back, what happens to USAID? What happens to good old Pakistan and Bangladesh? We'll bail out Nepal, we'll bail out Sri Lanka, we'll bail out Bhutan. But what about these two great neighbors of ours? I'm looking at neighborhood first. And other countries also. Now they'll have to choose whether they want to side with USA or China. If they don't get money from USA, they can't repay China. If they go against China, USA will not give them anything. So they're all caught. We all thought that USA will get caught. No, it's China which is getting caught, and all these global south will get caught. With China, they have only debt. With this, it's free funding. So you think, if you are in that situation, what will you do? Okay. Then let's talk of this. It's what's coming up in news is that later this month, in a few days, Prime Minister Modi will go to Washington and have a one-to-one with Trump. Now that's very important. He's the second leader to go there. First is Netanyahu. He's going to have a talk, and within a few days, Modi ji will go. So what is going to be spoken about? Trade, security, immigration. Immigration, I don't think is a major issue. Immigration will be a win-win situation they'll create for both. There's okay, we'll take a few guys back there, someone will come back. Because immigration from, Indian immigrants, illegal immigrants into USA go through other places also. They take asylum somewhere and go from there. So these chaps who have taken asylum, say from London, having gone to New York, can be shifted back to London. Let UK take care of them or Europe take care of them. They'll not come back. A few will come back, we'll handle that. That's not a big deal. Trade, which is important. If we can pull it off, get US investment into India, reform our system, great. There's an opportunity. Even security. We should be very clear as to where we are. Will China become friendly with us just because they've gone a little back from the border? No, they're no more friendly than earlier. I've done a whole lot of discourses from China and thinking from China. The Chinese thinking is to control India and contain it. You have to break the shackles. It's not a matter of Trump or Biden or anything. If China can break the India-US relationship, then it's a major victory for them and a major loss for us and USA. And the fact that Mr. Modi is the first senior leader or the leader of a big state who will go and meet Trump initially, the first or second, means a lot. Because India opens up a lot of things. If Ukraine war has to be ended, he'll need India's help. I told this long back, can India be a mediator? If Russia-China equation has to be broken, that route, one is of course the direct route, the second indirect route is through India. It will happen in some form. So this year will be interesting from the Indian perspective, what all India can do or not do. If our neighborhood has to be sorted out, you need USA to get off our backs and allow us to behave the way we want in our neighborhood. And so that Bangladesh can be set right. Sri Lanka and Maldives don't swing to China. So it's a mutual relationship we are looking at. And FDI, if from USA starts coming in, you can say thank you to China. And in any equation, while it can be argued that both are not trustworthy and they look to their interests, we should look to our interests. Where do our interests lie better? Do they lie with China or do they lie with USA? Who serves our interests better? And this is a major signal. And I'm going to do once the things come out, we'll do a major podcast on this. I'll get a panel. I will do it next week. And we'll talk of this. Okay. What was the first order of business after the Trump swearing in? Quad. The Quad ministers got together, and the interesting thing is, normally, traditionally, the US Secretary of State has gone to Canada or Mexico and spoken to them. In this case, he spoke to the Quad. And he not only spoke to the Quad, because in his view, balancing China was important, he also spoke to each foreign minister of the Quad separately. And in that, the first meeting he had was with Dr. Jaishankar. So you see the trust, the signals from the US establishment is very clear. The importance they are giving to India. That we shouldn't lose sight of. The joint statement also came out, and the whole story is now coming to a stage where the madness which appeared so is not mad. There's some logic in it. Now let's see the logic. You see this from top to bottom. I'll open up the slide so that you can have a look at it fully. Okay, look at this. USA, it's pushed Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Greenland, Panama, India, and USA. So what is it affecting? It's affecting the global order, it's affecting China and the domestic order. That's the important part. If you see, three things are being attempted and quite successfully. His neighborhood is now getting into his grip completely. Sooner or later, it's a matter of another couple of months, they'll get into his grip. Once he finishes off with US, the EU, already there's a focus on Quad. So, what is this happening? People are now getting to, and foreign aid, US aid. People will slowly start thinking, look, which is the primacy of USA is being re-established. So the global order is very clear. He is laying the whip down. I am number one. No one can come near me. He's already warned, you try a brick currency and I'll put a brick on your head. That is something which no one can afford to undertake. So that is out. Yuan, brick, de-dollarization, just forget it. And this is something which I've been telling long back. Ye to kaab hai. What is that? Mungeri Lal ke Haseen Sapne type. China is being affected multiple ways. Direct tariffs. Of course, China has said, we'll retaliate. They all knew that they're going to get about 10% tariffs and they had a set of things, retaliatory tariffs. They'll do that. That's for showcasing. But the indirect effect through Mexico, pulling India away from China, okay, Greenland, EU, Panama Canal. Also remember, he's supporting Netanyahu in Gaza and the Middle East. The Middle East picture has changed. China is on the sidelines. Now, China is consigned to the sidelines in the Middle East. China has been consigned to the sidelines in the American ecosystem slowly. He might be shut out of EU also. So what's the problem with China now? In any case, the countries around China are inimical to it. So he's left only with Africa. He'll tackle Africa sooner or later. And then he's sorted out the domestic order. So is this madman theory working or not? That's the question. So is it really a madman's theory? Or is it the work of someone who is very clear as to what he is doing? There's a lot of logic in what he's done. Right. This is all I had to say today. We'll get ahead. This is not this I thought was the initial analysis. A lot of people talk loosely that Trump is behaving erratically and he doesn't know what he's doing and all. But I think he's come with a clear plan and he's executing it so far pretty clearly and confidently. And he's getting results. Not a single case where he has had to take a step back. And very intelligently, he is not slammed it directly against China. Indirect. The theory of indirect approach. So Trump is not as mad as it seems. That's the end of the day. Interesting times ahead. We'll talk of it. But what I wanted to put across is, if you like this video, please press the like button. If you're seeing my Gunner Shot for the first time, please do subscribe to it. I request you to join Gunner Shot as members and contribute, because whatever you contribute uh, as members goes for a good cause, which I've always been saying, of educating girl children. Now, having said that, for the past 2-3 days, I've been rather erratic in coming up, and that's because I'm going through a busy time. I was in the Bhopal Lit Fest. I had to speak for 2 days in the Bhopal Literature Festival, one on Tibet, China, and India, and the other on defending India. Is India well defended? I had to speak with erudite people. The first India, China, and Tibet was with Ambassador Dilip Sinha and Ambassador Anil Wadhwa. I put that video out. The second day, I had to speak on India. Is India well defended, with Ambassador Anil Wadhwa and General Raj Shukla. I'll put that video out in a day or two. Now I'm in Delhi. I have my projects and all that, and I have to speak to some of the commanders who come from the LAC. I'm doing it tomorrow, and I'm going to talk to them about China. It's not only speaking to all of you. I have to do actual practicing what I talk and putting it across, so that there's some effect on the LAC. I still teach my military, people who made me what I am, and I have to also take a few lectures at the National Defense College. So I'm going to be erratic till about 10. You'll see my like today is at 9:30. I didn't have time at 8 o'clock. So tomorrow I'm not going to do anything in the evening, but sometime in the afternoon I'll put something out. And tomorrow I have a very interesting topic called Sinicization of Buddhism. We will talk of it. That's happening and it's coming to a head. I'll talk of that. Then our foreign secretaries level spoke a week back. I have not come back to you on an analysis about that, because that tells you where the India-China relationship is going. I'll analyze that also, but I'll be erratic. Whenever I get a chance, I'll put it out. Right? All I'd say is put your notifications on so that you get notified and you come up if you have the time. Otherwise, do see the video and send it to your friends. I'll take a few questions, though it's open house. I'll not take too many questions because I've had a long day, and actually, to be very honest, I'm tired, but I couldn't disappoint you by not coming today. Okay. Right. Let me take Akash question. He says, yeah. So the joker in the pack is how Trump deals with Putin to pull Russia away from China. Is a possibility. Can it be done? Your views? I think it's a possibility. If anyone who can do this, it is Trump. And I'm very sure that he'll use Mr. Modi to leverage. But what is the carrot he is going to give Trump is a question to be seen. Okay. If China has stressed too much, is it possible that China can create troubles in the neighborhood to divert attention? Possibility, but I don't think China is in a position to undertake any major action. That's my view. Because if Trump hikes the thing, then remember, it's all exports. If China starts getting sanctioned for a few things, there's going to be a problem. And also remember, I did this video a few days back, that America has beefed up the security ring around China, especially in Japan, Korea, Philippines, and Guam. There's a lot of readjustment which has been done. So China will be very wary of doing anything against it. And about Taiwan, I have a very interesting topic. I'm fully prepared for it. When I get the time, I'll talk about it. The new strategy against Taiwan, Chinese strategy. It's coming out. They're not fully in place, but something is happening. Yeah, sir, the video on Indo-Tibetan border was excellent, crystal clear explanation to Danik Bhaskar. Most of my dear class, thank you. Yeah, Sanjay, the only problem I have is not many people are subscribing. I'll give absolute clarity to most of you. I want more of you to subscribe to Gunner Shot. Yeah, Madman shoots a bullet, 5 birds fall, nobody knows which bird was which. No, I don't think that's the way to look at it. He was very clear what he was going to do from a long time. If you heard his campaign speeches, you see, this is the power of truth. He is saying what he wants, he is doing what he said. Okay, people didn't believe that. People are, ye kya karega? He'll not do anything. Okay, but he's done the trick. And he says Trump is transactional, not ideological. I agree, he's transactional. But what is this transaction? What I see, it's a very pertinent question, Patrick. What is this transaction? He's very clear of making America great again. Everyone thought making America great again is a joke. I'm not a rightist, I'm not Republican, I'm not a supporter. But I'm analyzing it very cool-headedly without a bias. And I see that he's shifting a lot of things. And we'll go, as we go along, I'll explain this to you. Yeah, guys, please update the video. Thanks a lot. I think Sparkly is a good person requesting on my behalf. Thank you, Sparkly. How can USA do FDI in India instead of China? They're themselves seeking to increase Saudi FDI from 600 billion to 1 trillion. Yeah, they're wanting to tap Saudi money. But equally, there are a lot of people in USA who want to invest. Okay. Unless you invest out, everyone, it's not this thing. Saudi investment they want so that Saudi Arabia is more invested into USA. That's the deal. US money like Microsoft. Microsoft is investing in India. Similarly, we need others. And I'll speak about this, Partha, when I touch upon AI, energy, and computers and things like that. Tech triangle, which I couldn't do, I'll do it sometime this month. And then you'll understand what I'm talking of: space, energy, and AI. That's where the investment is. Okay. Trump and Musk now shutting down USAID and NED. Will we see a visible reaction among the US-sponsored ecosystem inside India? Will they suddenly become? I don't think they'll become Modi bucks, but you will. The reactions are quite apparent already. Yeah, recently China daily praised Musk for opening a gigafactory and for expansion. Yeah, is it just business? Even if it's good, let's see how it goes. The Musk is being played as a double game. China wants to leverage Musk with Trump. Trump wants to leverage Musk with China. And Musk is playing his own game. Let's see how it goes. How will India and China coordinate in BRICS? They will not coordinate. There's the poorest coordination in BRICS is between India and China. And this is not the Indian view, this is a Chinese view. So I don't see BRICS going far. But BRICS has its own value. Why? Today, the 10 countries in BRICS, their GDP combined is more than the GDP combined of G7. So BRICS is something you can't wish away, but there will be no coordination between India and China on core issues. I was worried your analysis was wrong as I didn't see any bots. Thankfully, I've now seen the garbage. Yeah, you're right on the ball. Thanks a lot. Yeah. India will come out winner in the bilateral issues. I have no doubt about it. Okay. If Trump starts tariff war, will recession happen? I don't think for us there'll be a problem. We will see. We'll analyze this through a panel in the next 4-5 days, and then post visit of Prime Minister to US, we'll continue this analysis. Okay, I think we have done with the. Don't you think this dodge created by Trump within 18 months deadline is nothing but just overhyped PR, as it needed congressional approval to implement recommendations and budget cuts? Already things have started happening. Congressional approval aa jayega because he's got Republicans anywhere control the Congress and the Senate. That is today. See, if you analyze what happened in the elections, this is logical. Today, the president, the Senate, and the Congress are aligned with the Republicans, and whatever is happening now, the Republicans will fall in line completely with Trump. So you're going to see a lot of things happening, and let's be very nimble about our thinking. Okay, so is there any questions? Yeah. The biggest danger is if Trump makes a deal with China and throws India under the bus. I don't think that's feasible. The way things are going, I don't think that's feasible. And you have to understand, despite the deep sea issue and all that, China is in problems. China is still in problems. It's not run away anywhere. And I don't think Trump will make a deal with China at some point of time. They will have to have deal with each other. But that deal will be only with a clear understanding that US is number one. And for US to be number one and for the deal to take place, USA needs India. That is why Modi is going, as simple as that. Yeah, Trump seems very transparent in what he wants to do. Does a madman communicate? No, he's not a madman. That's why I think a lot of articles which are coming and depicting him as a madman. I've seen 3-4 of them. That's why I chose this. Is he mad? Is that madman theory correct? Remember, all those madmen who I spoke of earlier had all failed. This man seems to be succeeding. Okay. What is your opinion on new defense budget? Look, disappointing. That's my first thing. But let the figures come out, then I'll comment on it. I have not got the full hang of the figures. Normally, it will come out internally. Wait, there's no hurry for it. Because overall, it's disappointing. Just 1.91% of GDP is just not enough. In fact, it's poor. Isn't Trump supposed to be a new father of a poor country like India? Richard Watkin, I know where you are coming from. I understand. So this is just kind of comment I want. Okay. This actually tells me that you're a bot and you're a fool. Yeah. What are your views on illegal immigrants India case? Like I told you, it's not much. This is something which will get sorted out with a few give and take. I won't take individual cases. Don't worry. It's not much. If I'm labeled as a madman, I may as well use it to do good for my purpose and country, as a madman cannot be logically reasoned. Yeah, I agree with you. Whatever way you put it, he's being labeled, but is he acting mad? I don't think so. Sir, among the US allies in Middle East, who is most likely to leave US camp? No one. Has anyone left it so far? They've dumped China. So be very clear. The Middle East and the Gulf countries and the Arab countries have two problems. One, they don't want Turkey to become too strong, and they don't want Iran to revive. And Iran is racing against the clock on the nuclear thing. So all the more reason, see why at sooner or later Trump has to deal with Iran to sort things out. All the more reason that he needs India by his side. He'll need India to talk to Iran, talk to Putin, and break that link between Putin and Iran and put China on the ice. Look, this is a complicated world. Don't see this world in the binary. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So I think, yeah, USA can buy countries like India. Why India? They will buy China. Just watch. You don't have to buy China. China will come free of cost to USA. Just watch. Okay. This is very nice. Will India support Israel if they pander to join BRICS? Why not? I'd love Israel in BRICS if it wants to join. Let it come. That will upset a lot of people's ideas. It'll upset South Africa. It'll upset Russia. It'll upset China. So let's see how it goes. Trump's strategy seems to be to thrash countries into submission, make them agree to what he wants, and then he will act like a Madman. So what if? Venkat, just think, does it matter? If it serves my purpose as an Indian, and if it serves my interests, I'm happy. And it seems to be serving so far. Right? Some economists say Trump is following Britain's economic path in the earliest 20th century, like abandoning free trade, adopt tariff and shift, whatever you call it. He is doing it in his national interest. And today it suits me. I'm happy with it. There are many ways. Okay. And tariffs are not new. Tariffs are age old. He is doing it very smartly. And he knows exactly where to touch the button. If you see, he's moved against the weaker people who have to depend on US. He's put them in line now. US aid, he's put it in line. The biggest tariff today is US aid. Okay, so a lot of things are coming. This is only the beginning. So let us see where it goes. Okay, fine, guys. Thanks a lot. Sorry, today was a bit of a late start. I'll stop here. Like I said, I have 2-3 issues, very interesting issues lined up. I'm going to come up irregularly. Till then, keep liking, keep subscribing, join me as members, and have a good night. And we'll meet tomorrow afternoon sometime, maybe around 3-4. There'll be a live show. I know it's a lean type, but I'll put it out in the morning. Bye. Thank you. And yeah, last question. Yeah, 45K soon. If you people help me, and yeah, I must tell you, a lot of people come to me and say, you pay us and we'll ensure more subscriptions go on and all that. I don't believe in doing that. If you subscribe, fine. If you don't, it's okay. Then I came to know a lot of big channels have done this. You pay companies to promote your channel and they'll ensure enough subscriptions. I'm not made that way. In any case, I'm too old to do all that. So all I'd request is just join. More the better. Thank you. Good evening and Jai Hind.